Howdy, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I actually wound up headed to a breakfast meeting that then got canceled, and then the meeting after that got canceled. But everyone I've called to see, hey, if anyone else I can meet, because I'm on this side of town, and yeah, everyone's like out of office. So now I'm kind of a bit screwed up because I'm not sure which direction to go in. I have a lunch meeting, and so I'm kind of in limbo at the moment. So I went to grab a coffee, and I'm looking through my schedule trying to figure out where the hell I'm supposed to be right now. Hey, Coffee. Hey, Red Leg. I just posted a short video. Hey, Dan. And Teresa, thank you. I just posted a short video. And this gentleman, I see him from time to time on another platform, on TikTok. I don't follow him directly, but one of the other preppers I collaborate with on that platform, she tagged me in his posts. And so I wanted to help her get her numbers up, so I reshared it there and everywhere else. Hey, Teresa, and hey, Cold War, welcome. So this was, hey, KP, Virginia. Interesting. So, and Cold War can definitely comment on this. Anyone on the southern border from pretty much Louisiana to Arizona can talk to this one. So the Mexican military, a week and a half ago, intercepted, I guess what they thought was a shipment of cocaine or fentanyl or God knows what. And it actually had a bunch of pre-made IEDs, which is interesting. Then there was another batch, I don't know if it was in Arizona the second time, also intercepted a batch of IEDs. Now, that to me, having once upon a time in another life gone through the school of why bad people do this kind of stuff, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, that's stupid. Just make them in the U.S. But if you think about it, we control things pretty tightly here. Hey, Devil Dog. Hey, Daryl. And so if I bought too much ammonium nitrate and I didn't own a farm, or I bought certain things, it would get flagged, right? Now, granted, on one hand, it's an infringement of freedom. I might have a legitimate purpose for it. But on the other hand, you know, thank you, Unabomber and Oklahoma City guy. And that's why we have what we have. But it takes time to build them. So even if you get the people in the country, you then have to go and procure this without grabbing a bunch of attention. Especially in today's environment, everyone's hyper attentive. There are a lot of risk points, right? And I guess that's where I'm going. These bad actors, if they wanted to build them domestically, they could, right? We've done it before. Well, right. But that's a lot of ammonium nitrate, right? Hey, Coffee, no worries. Hey, Celtic Grandma, how are you? So to build them domestically, you still have to procure materials. You got to find a workable place, right? You can't build it anywhere because you will blow yourself up. Ironically, a lot of the same chemicals used for meth can be repurposed for terrorism, which is why meth labs blow up. That's not a joke, and I'm not going to tell you what chemicals are there. But besides, you know, fertilizer, I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff involved, but it's involved in both. But it's very volatile. So you need someone who's competent. You need good equipment. Like it takes effort. You can't just go to your kitchen and grab, like, you know, the Martha Stewart shit and start mixing up, you know, terrorism. You blow yourself up or you'll catch fire. So you need some level of competency. It takes time. So if you want to do something bad, you have to sit and plan it. Now, why would you want to bring them in through the border when we're very defensive right now? Well, the country's defensive, our border's not being defended, and that's a whole nother topic of conversation. The only reason you would want to bring them in pre-made and risk detection, well, and yeah, exactly, Virginia. The only, and you guys by all means chime in, maybe I'm off base, but the only reason someone would want to bring this stuff in just before the holidays pre-made is for a quick deployment. Well, right, Red Leg, and that's the point. And people pay attention, right? At the very least, you know, if I saw someone who I thought had a meth lab next to me, I'd call the cops and be like, there's a meth head next to me, you know, and the cops would go there and become disruptive, right? Or the fire department would go there and go like, oh, wow, this sucks. And they'd have to get hazmat and remove all the shit. Hey, Joe. So why would they bring them in pre-made? That just increases your chances of detection. Like, there's a risk here. And the only thing I could think of, having watched that, is they want to try to get as many as they can into the country to deploy them all at one time. Martha Stewart Cook, yo crack kit. No, actually, no, she didn't. She got white collar crime. So, you know what's funny? Martha Stewart actually did really well in prison because she's very even keel. And so they put her in prison, and like, she was like, well, we need to square our shit away. And the other prisoners were like, yeah, no, that's good. We can square our shit away. And so apparently she existed just, which is kind of funny that certain personalities exist both on both sides of the law pretty well. But going back to the topic, last week they stopped a train, or they shut down freight trains coming through El Paso, allegedly because, well, yeah, and she's friends with Snoop Dogg, so I'm sure Snoop's still tied to the boys in the street. He may have been like, hey, take care of my girl over there. And so, you know, phone calls were made. You never know. Hey, dragonflies. But it makes you wonder. They shut down the trains coming into El Paso. Cold War, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they mentioned specifically the freight trains were shut down for 48 hours. This is within the same week that the Federales said, hey, we just intercepted, 50 IEDs, pre-made, no detonators coming into your country. And then somewhere else we just intercepted some other shit. That's weird. Now they say they stopped the trains because allegedly they blamed like the conservative. 2 points where railroad to stop: El Paso and Agua Prieta. Okay, so they were stopped. So see, and it makes you wonder, why not McAllen? Why not Edinburgh? Why not Tucson? Not Flagstaff's, it's too far north. Not the Tucson. Is it a Tucson crossing? Because it's Tucson, Phoenix, and Flagstaff. Right, why not shut down the highway going to Socorro, New Mexico? Why those specific spots? Hey, Niels. And that bothers me. Because if I was a bad guy, I wouldn't be like, oh, let me go bring bad things. Well, what if it's, well, they can get fertilizer in other countries. Like, we actually realize the fertilizer's missing. Mexico, all the South American countries lose shit all the time. Well, right, Joe, and it did actually 100 years ago. I believe it was a young Captain Patton was deployed with someone else's army. I think, I don't know if General Pershing, and they were chasing banditos and roadmen up and down the border back in the day. That's what they did. Right, but you're limited, Joe, in what amount you can buy, right? So, like, if you were going to do something bad, you couldn't just go and buy a ton of the stuff. You'd have to get creative. So why bring in... So it takes time to do that, right? Every bombing we've had, the Zarnev brothers, and I met the SWAT team. I actually met the SWAT commander who was chasing those guys through the street of that suburb. I met him in a training session. It takes time. These guys have to take time to do this. So why risk detection? Hey, Dragonfly, it's good to see you. Bringing them in all at once. Thank you. It was General Blackjack Pershing. I was right. Okay, they were chasing Santa Ana. Not Santa Ana, Pancho Villa. But why bring them in pre-made? You risk a lot of attention doing that. And the only thing I could think of is you're on some kind of timeline that you have to get something across quickly to do whatever. Right, but everyone has to account for it, Joe. And yeah, they could. Well, that's my point. If it's here domestically, why risk bringing them in pre-made. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a bad guy can go and collect from different farms and steal a bag here, a bag there of different things and create bad stuff. Why risk going across a border checkpoint or through something else? Right, dragonflies, absolutely. Brothers' backpacks didn't match boom bags. Yeah, I don't know. And the only variable I could think of is time. If you're trying to do bad things and you're already in the country, you have to go to this farm and steal this, go to that warehouse and steal that. It takes time to, well, Joe, even industries lose blasting caps and shit. Like it can be done, but again, Joe, it still takes time, is what I'm saying. It's not something you and I could say, hey, let's go do X, and we can pull it off in a week, because we're going to either get arrested or we're going to catch ourselves on fire. Something will go wrong. Hey, Tracy. Why risk the detection of bringing something in? So it's one of two things. Either it's a diversion from something else, or they're trying to deploy them quickly. And I can't, in my mind, reconcile why they would risk bringing those things across the border that quick. Thank you, Cold War. And that bothers me. Because, again, if I was a bad guy, I would try to black market something, not pre-build a bunch of shit and send it in one big transport. Hey, book club. Hey, Watchman and Tiger. Across the border. Like, I'm just asking to get caught. So either I'm stupid, I'm on a timeline, or I'm a diversion, is the only three things I could think of. And yeah, I mean, there are stupid terrorists, right? It could be amateurs. I mean, we've intercepted all sorts of shit, and then you're like, really? You put 50 tons of cocaine in that and tried to drive it across the border, right? So you do get idiots. So it makes you wonder. But I think that was just very weird to me. Best channel for all you regulators. Thank you, Watchman. It's just concerning. Why are you trying to bring them in pre-made? And then right after that, you start. The pre-made, they can just flood. Oh, shoot, wait. A lot will get through undetected. I feel there's less detection going that way. It's just... Right, and that's a good point, Stout Ridge, and welcome, by the way. It's very possible that they caught those guys, but somewhere else they got through. It's the same thing with cocaine, right? We don't stop the cocaine. There's freaking cokeheads everywhere, right? Mike Lindell, he looks like a what? Mike Lindell looks like the coke is in the pillow. That mustache that man has needs to go, by the way. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Do I think like America's gonna be on fire? I don't know. I don't think so. But I think it was either really stupid or a diversion, or even worse, the whole sum of all fears concept is that somebody was trying to buy them pre-made to go do bad to someone else, not necessarily attack America. But let's say Antifa decides to attack the Proud Boys or some, you know what I mean? Some civil shit. So I don't know what they were thinking, trying to bring them across the border. But, you know, I don't know, shit, they're not securing the border either. So maybe that was the smart way to do it. It's like, well, we're getting people across. We're getting coke across. Let's see if we can get RPGs and bombs across and see how that works. So, hey, American Eagle Scout, welcome. Hey, Gerald. So, yeah, and Tom Clancy died way before his time, and he died in very weird circumstances. Like, his whole family was like, he was in much better health than everyone thought he was. So, but I'll make another video about that. So, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, regardless of what you think of the stupid IED guy trying to bring them into the country through the border, which was stupid. Maybe it's to our benefit he was stupid. They shut down trains, and right now, Maersk, the shipping company, have trebuchets. Yeah, no, those will be great. Neil's trebuchets, catapults, and ballistas. I'm a fan of the Roman ballista. That's a cool thing. Shipping can't go through the Red Sea safely anymore. So now Maersk and I think another shipper are now going around Africa. That's going to also be a problem. Now, let's think about that. That's going to increase the amount of time and effort it takes to get product from the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean and hence to the Atlantic. And that's going to start messing everybody. So even though they're saying inflation's down, which I think that's not a lie, they're just not telling you the whole truth. Hey, SBLO. Hey, good morning, Nana. Surviving behind, same here. Like Virginia Bushcrafter put a video this morning. I got the notification as I was starting this live stream. It popped on my other phone, and I'm like, well, thanks for telling me 3 hours later. I didn't get to see it. But anyway, so it is, hey, Kentucky. Yeah, FUBAR is normal. So that's also going to be disruptive, especially to oil and gas. So even though the price of oil has gone down, and we're starting to get really good production here in the US and Canada, which is good, and Mexico's starting to ramp up, which is good. It means we'll have supply. That can be very disruptive to the global market, which may kick the prices the other way. I don't know which way it's going to go, how big an effect having to send those oil tankers around Africa versus through the Suez is going to have on our finances in the West. So that's kind of that could be a hit or miss. I don't know which way that's going to go. But what it will do, it's going to cause a lot more costs to be rolled into our supply chain. So it won't hit us in December. I think it's too soon. That kind of crap takes about a month or two to become more expensive, right? Because remember, if I produced a bunch of cans of SpaghettiOs, and that's Joe's SpaghettiOs, right? That's an inside joke. Joe can explain it at his leisure another time. But anyway, right, is going to jack our gas prices higher, right? So it's kind of hard because there are a lot of little levers. But let's say the way manufacturing works, if I produce, 1 million cans of SpaghettiOs, right? I'm doing it based on today's pricing, right? So if today's pricing, my can of SpaghettiOs is $1, to me, I mark it up $1.50, whatever, I don't know what the hell they cost, then that's the market price you're going to see. If there's a disruption today, I'm already building my stuff based on this batch's pricing. Does that make sense? So I've already got my costs, my materials, everything. I'm building this based on today's pricing. So this batch is not going to get affected. So if there's a disruption and I'm in the middle of manufacturing this, unless you burn the factory down, it's going to be $1.50 price. That's the price I built into the product. Now, if there's a disruption now, it won't affect this batch. It may not even affect next month's batch. But the month after, while I'm now procuring 2 months ahead, right? Because manufacturing's trying to procure for 2 months ahead. The manufacturing's going on today. Procurement's trying to buy for 2 months from now. That's the batch that's going to go up. Hey, Caribbean House, Merry Christmas to you too. So I don't think you're going to see it for Christmas or maybe even January. I think February, March is where, hey, Nostra is where you're going to see the pricing increase if this Suez Red Sea situation continues, where the ships have to keep going around Africa. I don't think the governments are going to let that happen. They're already getting naval forces from different countries into the area. So what I think what's going to happen is someone's going to tell the Houthis, hey, stop your shit or we're going to bomb the hell out of you and send A-10s after you. And this has happened in 2016. They fired at my brother's frigate, which was in that area. And they shot down whatever the hell was shot at them or shot at the freighters. And then they got the order, they sent a helicopter, figured out where the launch site was. And then another destroyer came into the area. He said it was the Brits. And they shelled the shit out of that launch site, right? And they burned and then they launched again 2 days later. The Americans figured out where the launch site was. The Brits came again and shelled the shit out of them. They did this a couple of times until the Houthi rebels realized, okay, so every time we shoot rockets at the Navy ships, they bomb the crap out of us. And they stopped. So yeah, it's I don't think that's going to be super disruptive. It may be a problem if the disruption continues for a long time. I think they're going to try and crush it really quick. Now, if they don't, or they're unable to, and it becomes disruptive to the Suez Canal, you're going to see pricing increases in that case, but it'll be 2 months out. Oh yeah, Kentucky, absolutely. Yeah, I can't even make that sound. That's just a very unique sound. And then the way the engines whistles when they break north, and they'll break and start pulling out of their dive, and you hear that whee as they go up. That's a very epic sound. It's a very unique sound. Horrifying if you're not on the same side as the 810s. But I do believe that should not be disruptive if they can settle down. If whoever's sponsoring the Houthis tells them stop it, or they're going to come and bomb the crap out of you, or they'll give you Marines, and that'll be the end of your shit, and they'll stop. I think they're just using the Israel-Hamas thing as an excuse to shoot rockets at people. That, if they can settle it, it should be a speed bump in cost and availability, and then it should stop. If it continues, or if they actually damage ships, that'll be a problem. Now, the Somali pirates started their shit again. They took over a couple of freighters. The French sent Marines and killed a bunch of them. And then they shot up the shoreline again. So, again, if they beat them down quickly and make a point of saying, stop it, or we're going to mess you up, they'll cut their crap. So it could be a problem if they don't get a handle on it. It sounds like the U.S., French, and apparently even the Indian Navy sent like a patrol boat or a rescue boat to assist in rescues and shit. So like everyone's like not cool with this shooting boats in the Red Sea thing. So that should probably get squished. If they don't squish it, or if they disrupt, we will see pricing increase for a lot of things, including oil, but that's going to be, well, right, Cold War, and you know the geographics there. That's a pain in the ass. It's not a great place. But you won't see the pricing increase right away unless the market freaks, right? And the market will only freak if they do something really ugly, like sink something. That would freak everyone out, and then the market gets skewed. If the various navies can convince the Houthi rocket launchers and the Somali pirates that doing these things will end in them being on fire in the ocean, they'll stop. So, yeah, it's we'll see how that works. And oops, it is created. And I don't think all the people who pull the strings are on the same page. And that's what worries me, because I think what we're witnessing actually is we're all getting caught in the power struggles of much more powerful people, right? Elon does not like Soros. Soros does not like Buffett. Buffett is not a fan of Schwab. Like, these guys, they may all be billionaires and they have their bougie meetings. Some of these sons of bitches don't like each other because everyone wants to be the boss. And they're all saying, you're not the boss of me, I'm the boss of me because I have X billions. So I don't trust any of them. And I think we're getting caught at a global level in power plays between very powerful entities. And you may agree or disagree, but, I bet Soros would screw, like, Buffett over if it meant he got more power, right? And Buffett's not stupid. He knows that. Elon knows that. So, yeah. And Dan, that's a great way of saying it. A lot of them are a bunch of spoiled children. And since when does the world take orders from guys who sound like James Bond villains? You will have nothing and you will be happy. What the hell? Just the way he said it. He needs a cape and the big fat cat. $1 trillion. Yeah, no, screw that guy. Anyway, I digress. So that entity, that situation in the Red Sea, if they get a quick handle on it, it'll be more pain in the ass to people. If pretty much, Gerald, a global feudal system between the lords and ladies of the various manors. If they do not, then it'll be disruptive, but it's not going to be Christmas or December. It's probably not going to be January. It's going to take a little longer for that gold eye patch. It's going to take a little longer for that to jump on them. And it's going to take a little longer for that to hit our costs. So again, to my earlier point, if and then with this IED thing in the southern border, they've shut down trains because of illegals, and they're closing border checkpoints kind of erratically now. That's also disruptive because we get a lot of produce. We get a lot of legitimate stuff from Mexico, and they get stuff from us. So it's kind of screwing both countries. So there's a lot of supply chain disruption, both on the ground border and in the ocean. So again, if you find stuff that's on sale, I would get it sooner than later. And as far as Christmas, a lot of people have reached out to me on the other platform, TikTok, about, hey, I'm a prepper. What kind of gift can I give someone without giving them a panic or giving them a tinfoil hat? Make baskets. Make a prepper basket for someone, or a gift basket, and put, a DVD, like a movie that you think might get them thinking, and put some, chocolate bars or a little bottle of wine, whatever. And maybe, I don't know, give them an MRE bog. I don't know. Make some gifts. They're cheaper that way. And you might get them thinking, hey, all American, welcome. So, but to your all's point, ladies and gentlemen, can this be a problem? These issues on the border, the shutting down of the freight trains, the disruption in Suez, yes, it can be if they don't get a handle on this stuff. I actually sadly think they'll get a handle on the Red Sea faster than we're going to get a handle on the southern border. And that bothers me, because you're going to have the bad closer to us. So if you find stuff on sale that's food related, get it. If it's close to expiration, especially dry goods like pastas and oatmeal, stuff like that, put it in Mylar if you have Mylar. Order some Mylar. A lot of the companies ranging from AR500 to Mira to Palmetto State Armory, a lot of these companies are putting stuff on sale because they want no inventory going over the year. Remember, companies have to write down losses if they have certain products after December 31st, depending on how they do their books. Some do September to September, others do December 31st to December 31st. So if you gift, dragonflies, that's a great gift. Survival books. So a lot of companies are putting stuff on sale. So look for those sales. Try to get something that may be beneficial. That may be a great gift. At least certain members of my family will be getting things that I think are appropriate, both day-to-day and preparedness gifts. And I'm blessed that I have surrounded myself with family and extended family that I deal with on a regular basis that are like-minded. Not in a panic, not like, aliens, but more like the supply chain sucks and our government is stupid. So we should have food, and that's it. If you think like that, we're on the same page. But ladies and gentlemen, can these things be disruptive? Potentially, absolutely they can. Will they hurt us in the long run? That remains to be seen. The Red Sea situation, if the navies can calm that down or discourage the Houthis and the Somalis from attacking everyone in the Red Sea and disrupting the shipping, if they can calm that down, everything should level off in about a month. It takes a little while. Now, here's the problem. Once they turn the cargo ships around and send them down around Africa, it's not like a bus. You can't just make a U-turn on the block, right? It becomes it's much more expensive to then turn them around and go through the Suez again. So you're going to see little price spikes in certain goods. It's not going to end the world. If they can, or if the attacks escalate to where it causes damage, or God forbid they sink something or damage the canal, And the Egyptians will be pissed if that happens. The Egyptians will start going after people, because that's their canal, them and the Brits, and it escalates. That's going to be a problem. So let's see how it plays out. Is it a reason to panic? No, I don't think so. Hey, Red October, is it a good reason to look for? And somebody said, I couldn't see who it was, buy North American. Absolutely. Try to shorten your personal supply chain, right? If you normally get product X from Europe, try to find product X from Canada or Mexico if it's not here in the US. You may have to pay a little more, right? But if there's a disruption in the Red Sea, you're less likely to feel it because the Red Sea has nothing to do with your product. You catch what I'm saying? So understand the supply chain, because then it gives you the option to start looking elsewhere. It's what my company does. It's what we do. When we have issues finding from certain vendors, we start looking for other vendors. Like, we have a whole team of people who are, hey, Cassandra, who are dedicated to find other stuff. And yeah, get creative with the Christmas gifts, guys. Don't get in debt. If you put something on a credit card, do it in a way where you can pay it down in a couple of months and it's done. You know, there's nothing wrong. Your interest will be very small if it's a couple of months. If you drag it on, thank you, Surviving. Wow, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate you. You know, that, as always, I don't ask for those, but I do appreciate those gestures. So thank you very much. Folks, shorten those supply lines. Ironically, and I know people like to pick on California and Texas, and, you know, everybody fights between the states. The truth is, a lot of the products coming that are available locally are probably better for you. So go to your local shop, go to your local meat market, go to your local farmer's market and get to know those folks. Hey, Stewart's Prepping, and try to talk to them and find out, when do they come up with crops. There's a farm, they said I could do a video in their farm, but I have to wait till the spring. Flying Y. And they do year-round horticulture, but they do it in those white greenhouses. I know that sounds stupid, a white greenhouse, but you guys know what I'm saying. It looks like a big marshmallow. It's a long house. She plants year-round, but she has to change the crops. And I ask her, when is your spring mix coming out? When are you going to have lettuce? I know when her and the other farms in that group are selling different certain crops throughout the course of the year, right? So I know when to go to the farmer's market and go find her, because that's the time of year she's going to have those crops. I know out here zucchini and squash do really well in this dry heat, which is really weird to me. They're all over the place in the summer. Who the hell knew? So yeah, that's when I stock up on them. I start dehydrating them. I start cooking with them. Local honey is around the year here. And Lee, they actually look different. The lady showed me the bottles. I get them from, oh shoot, not St. Arnold's. That's the beer house. I'm thinking of beer right now. I forgot. I even shouted them out on the channel. But she showed me her fall, spring, and summer honey, completely different colors depending on what the bees are finding in the wild. So that was very cool to watch and look at, and she explained the different things. So yeah, North America, between Mexico, US, and Canada, we can probably get almost everything we want. And if we got to get from overseas, get it from the Philippines and Australia, because they got some good product there, and that doesn't have to go through the Suez Canal. And it doesn't even have to go by China. At least Australia doesn't. They can come straight to California. So change your supply chain. Try to find other products from different locations. You're going to battle two things going into next year. It's availability and price. And they tend to go hand in hand. Like if you have less availability, you have more, the price goes up, and vice versa. But look for those alternative options. You might find little gems locally. So folks, that I'm going to close this one out, but that's it for the supply chain talk. It could be a problem to the title of my video. It can be a problem potentially if they don't get a handle on it. What do is hey Sandy, you change the way you look at it, and don't just say, oh, danger on the border, danger in Suez. Yeah, there's danger over there. Start looking for other sources. Start looking for other sources to find where you can get product. And I would encourage everyone to look locally. I'm blessed to be in Texas. I got Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mexico. I mean, I can get everything from new steaks to pine wood to tequila. I mean, how cool is that, right? So folks, by all means, take the time, do a little research on the stuff you use the most, and then see where else can you find it. And you're going to surprise yourself. It may cost you a little more, so you're going to have to trade that off, but at least you can find it that way. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Again, no panic, no need to freak. Instead, ask yourself, if the price goes up, if the availability disappears, what's my plan? Where do I change? Where else can I find this product, or how can I substitute? If I like pasta and I can't get the pasta, can I use rice? Can I use orzo? Can I use polenta? Get creative, have some fun with it. But whatever you do, don't panic. Instead, think about how you're doing it. And again, somebody mentioned silver. Diversify if you can fit it in your budget. Have a little cash, have some in the bank, have a little silver, have some bonds. Spread it out a little. Remember, the rich guys won't let, hey Vision, they won't let the system crash, because that's how they keep rich off of us. We just have to figure out what they're doing so we can do it. And then we're not struggling. You know what I mean? Anyway, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you all be safe, be blessed out there. I may not do my normal Thursday because I may be traveling to meet my granddaughter, finally. So in any case, you guys be blessed, be safe. And if I don't speak to you guys before then, you guys have a blessed and safe Christmas. For those of you who'll be on the road, be careful. Remember to bring your EDC. There's airport appropriate EDC. I've made a few videos on it. And yes, I had a video where they took my knife because I forgot to put it away. So learn from my mistakes too. You guys be safe. God bless.